honored to be having this conversation with you. Today, we're going to really talk a lot about how brands live their purpose. And you and I have spent some time chatting about Pepsi being built one small town at a time, and how you're really leaning into your purpose, particularly given everything that's happened with COVID. And you've got some great initiatives to share with everyone, now, particularly that amazing Super Bowl activation. But I would be remiss if I didn't call this out right now. You are in front of a picture of someone I absolutely adore, who is now sitting on the title for Grammy Awards, and that's the one and only Beyonce.
Absolutely, this is a tribute to Beyonce.
She's repping Pepsi, so shout out and kudos to you guys. Hopefully we can bring her back to a Super Bowl halftime show.
I hope so too. This is one of my favorite moments here for sure. No doubt about it, in Super Bowl history.
Without a doubt, without a doubt. But let's get started. I mean, Derek, you have had an absolutely incredible career. I would love for you to share with our audience your story. I mean, going from Hampton University, a wonderful HBCU there, but all the way to being the president of the Southern Division of PepsiCo Beverages. I mean, tell us your story.
Well, thank you. I still feel like a campus hire, Sharon. I mean, it's been 33 years. I know it's a long, long time, but it only feels like yesterday when I left the campus of Hampton University, home by the sea there. What a great journey it's been for sure. Pepsi was always one of the more attractive companies back on campus at the time in the late 80s. And it was a company I was certainly desperate to be part of. And I was fortunate enough to be able to get through the interviewing process and land an assignment, management training assignment in Baltimore, Maryland. I knew the company's growth path. I was always a big fan of the product. I consumed the product quite a bit when I was younger. And so I had some familiarity, obviously, with the portfolio at the time, but was super excited to go through what I saw was a very progressive management growth path to general management, which is what I aspired to be. I've certainly gone much farther than I ever thought I would go, but it was a company that I thought you could dream big and live big in. And that's played out, over the 33 years. I've been fortunate enough to work my way up through the entire organization, start out on the route, again, in Baltimore, progressed through a number of management selling roles throughout my career across the country. I've lived in 8 different cities around America, West Coast, East Coast, the North, spent some time in headquarters doing strategic roles. And so I've been developed into, quite the executive for the company. They've trained me well, they've prepared me well, they've given me a lot of opportunities. And so it's been, I've been blessed and fortunate to work with wonderful people, have an amazing portfolio of brands to work with. And then also, a company that has a lot of great purpose in what we try to go do, making society better and our world better, a place to live as well. So it's been a great thrill ride and one I hope still continues on for years to come.
That's phenomenal. The same company for an incredible tenure. And I'm sitting here in Baltimore today because I'm like in our Baltimore office. I'm the only person in the office today. But that's such a fantastic story.
I got some great memories in Baltimore. We started on Union Avenue, 1650 Union Avenue. I still remember the address, and it was off of Falls Road, and that facility's not there anymore. But it taught me a lot. That gave me all certainly the great foundation to start that I needed for a great company like this. And I still cherish and build upon those moments that I had early on in my career when I was a management trainee hire.
Well, obviously your journey at Pepsi is it's phenomenal. I mean, it is beyond impressive. And Pepsi's always been, one of those preferred employers. I guess my question for you and follow up in looking at your career is, at this point now, you're the president of the Southern region. How are you defining leadership for the brand?
Look, I think this is a real critical time for brands to step up. And I think, rising above others and getting out of your comfort zone. Last year was a incredibly difficult year for everybody, no doubt about it, on many fronts, right? You had COVID, you had the economic challenges, you had the racial injustice happen, and there were other more pressing issues happening also in the communities as well. And I think this is a really important time for brands to step forward. This is not a time to call it play it safe and be unheard, unseen. You've got to be seen. You've got to be visible. I use this kind of coach model. I think it's important for brands right now to have a tremendous amount of conviction. That would be my C. My O is ownership. Ownership of a situation. Right. This is a real time to take charge, to show where you stand on things. Action orientation. It's a time for brands to be very action oriented in the way they try to help solve problems in the marketplace and in the communities. Certainly right now, during the times we have. C, consistency. it's not a what the flavor of the month type of thing. This is something that is meant to be consistent for the long haul. You know, the messaging and the intent and the actions need to be consistent on a multi-year basis. Needs to be a journey to something more powerful. And I think, you know, H is hustle. You know, we need brands to move swiftly. Don't wait for somebody else to do something. You try to copycat it. You should be out in front. And I think, you know, we certainly thrive upon that, making sure we're first, we're quick to respond. You know, we're leaning in. A lot of times where people are sort of backing out or pulling out, we're leaning in more than ever. And I think brands play a big role in that. The consumers who stand you up day in and day out or over a lifetime, you know, certainly when issues matter a lot and things become really critical in the community, I think brands now have to go stand up those communities in a big way. And so that's the approach that we've taken. You know, we do have a small town feel to ourselves. We started in a small town back in New Bern, North Carolina, back in the late 1800s. And so we've always had a passion for the community and the work we do. This is not like the first time, but I think certainly last year's challenge presented a greater opportunity for us to step up even more and show our commitment there. And I think, you know, we certainly have started that work. We've made a lot of progress. We're very pleased at the effort we're making, the commitment we have. We have a lot of partners that are on board with us. The community is very receptive of the things that we're doing, and we can do more, and we're planning on doing more. So we're not stopping or resting on what we did yesterday or what we did last month or what we did 6 months ago. This is very much a progressive journey, a go forward journey. And so we're excited about the roots that we're planting here and getting deeper into it. And I think that's what in my mind brands stand out at a time of leadership need to demonstrate.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that coach model. I'm going to definitely remember that. That'll be tweeted later on. I have to turn my attention to the whole Pepsi Stronger Together initiative. You've talked a lot about the work that Pepsi does in the community. You've definitely focused on 3 areas: education, community, and environment. Can you tell me a little bit about the goals and the aims of the program?
Pepsi Stronger Better, all about is just, again, strengthening our connection and connectivity to the community. You know, we want to be a pillar and seen as a pillar in our communities. And this is a way for us to create tailored initiatives to the community, addressing issues that matter the most in our community. So it's not a one sort of size fit all program. It's very customized. And it started out as a response to COVID. So our initial Pepsi Strong Together orientation was all about COVID response. So we wanted to go take care of healthcare workers, service workers. We want to take care of frontline associates, people that were on the action and supporting all the essential businesses in town. So do things like provide, you know, meal relief where we could, you know, we all brought PPE support, volunteerism, things that we can do to sort of take some pressure off a situation that was obviously very stressful for all the frontline workers out there. And so that's where really how this was born. And then as time started to evolve, you saw that the issues became more and more pressing, especially with after the death of George Floyd, the racial injustice. The economic impact was obviously very, you know, traumatic across the country, especially in the communities of color throughout the time frame. So we were hearing loud and clear from our communities, can we do more? We love Stronger Together from a angle of addressing some of the COVID situation, but we want to, can you do more? And we work with our communities on doing more and our partners on doing more. And so those things evolved to the platform you spoke about and then some and then even more. And so it became a real team effort with partners in the market. You know, the Shaquille O'Neal Foundation is a incredibly big partner of ours, a national partner of ours in this effort. So we've now got, you know, partnerships like that with Shaq and his team that give us incredible scale across the country, across all the communities that we're working against. We also have local partners. We work with our sports leagues, work with the NBA, work with the NFL, we work with the NHL, again, local partners that we have in different cities. And so it's been a tremendous effort to see everybody rally, our customers, our associates, our partnerships rally behind this cause that, again, what we do in one city is different than what we maybe do in another city. And so the uniqueness of the tailoring of the initiatives, I think, is what's critical, is that the community speaks about the issues that matter the most there, and we're able to go and provide support and tailor our work against those specific needs.
That's phenomenal. I'd love for you to, you know, you're doing all this amazing work in the community, and I'm sure there are going to be people who are saying, why? You know, and I think particularly because of COVID, because of many of the societal challenges that we faced, I think brands are leaning into what's that marriage of profitability and purpose. Can you share a little bit more about how Pepsi sees this and why you're so committed to it? Because you're putting a lot of resources, a lot of time, a lot of effort, and a lot of energy to make this happen. And it's happening across the country.
Oh, it is, no doubt about it. And look, it's an accountability for us. This is something that is taken very seriously. This is not we see as a nice to do. It's a must do. It all falls under our winning with purpose pillar. If you think about our, our business planks and pillars that we look at, we certainly want to get growth out of the market. We certainly want to execute and take care of our clients the best way we possibly can and show a lot of strong capabilities within the organization. But we also want to stand up our communities in massive ways. There's certainly Pepsi Stronger Together is one of those ways. We're giving back to the community in a big way. We want to help in areas of sustainability. We want to help our environment get better. We want to thrive off of diversity, engagement, and inclusion. And so all those things, they're all horizontal and come together, quite frankly. There's a tremendous business proposition at standing up the community, but it's also the right thing to do. It's an important thing to do. And especially given what we've all experienced in the past 12 months, I don't know of anything more important than that, than what we just talked about. And so our laser focus is on making sure we bring our communities along the best way we possibly can, leaning in, providing resources, pivoting resources where necessary. And again, the response has so far been very favorable and positive. We're just getting started. I mean, there's still a ton to go do, a lot more to go do. There's repetition obviously going to be involved in many of the cities we go to. Again, we can customize the needs that we have in place. So this is something that's very, very serious. So when you're talking to managers and people in leadership roles in our company, this is a very important proposition for us end to end. This community proposition is not something that is done on the side or done as something as a part-time thing. It absolutely gets the full attention of the executives, the management team, and the organization a whole, day in and day out.
Yeah, that commitment's amazing. I'd love for you, Derek, because you share with me some of the work you've done for the frontline workers, and not only how impactful it was, for the workers themselves, but how impactful it was for you as a leader to go through that experience. Can you give us just more details on, the work that you've done with the frontline workers and helping the restaurant industry during the pandemic?
Well, we wanted to be, very hands-on. We obviously had to pivot. I had to pivot as a leader. The things that I was doing, first of all, we had to ensure associate safety. First of all, safety of our associates, safety of our associate families, safety of our communities, safety of our customers, right? So safety. It was 1 through 10 as far as I was concerned. And so with that being said, there was a lean-in obviously to the associates, the workers that were closer to the action. So that would be our frontline workers that service the stores, that drove the trucks to the stores, that built the pallets to get to the store. So any associate that is involved with getting our product, from the warehouse facility into the store onto the shelves was obviously given and treated as the highest priority from a safety standpoint, from a support standpoint. So we plow a lot of resources in against that. We also, you think about the customers that we had, they were essential businesses, whether your retail business or your restaurant type of customer. We wanted to make sure we do everything to, one, stand you up, make sure we can provide you the right service that you need to take care of your obligations and customers day in and day out. And certainly while we saw a bigger struggle in that restaurant industry, we went out our way to make sure we could help stand up those operators in terms of providing them with additional resources, tools to help them, one, get back on track, and to stay on track and thrive as they go forward. And so we've been creative with different things, supporting deliveries, picking up delivery fees for some of our partners, donating some product, helping people with, technology, marketing in the marketplace to, again, help them try to thrive through this tough time. And they're going to come out a lot stronger because of that. I know they're very appreciative of our effort, and our goal doesn't stop here. We're going to continue to do that work day in and day out.
So, this must have been a massive infrastructure lift to mobilize at that scale across a large geographic region. How did you approach that? Everyone learned something new last year. I think we all tapped into superhero strengths that we didn't thought we would have. So how did you go about even architecting this?
Look, it was a tremendous effort by the entire corporation, right? And I think the thing that made it very successful for us in terms of our speed and effectiveness was just the alignment that we had, and we all saw the prioritization the same way. So there was never any misalignment on what was important in the marketplace. Again, we talked about safety against all those stakeholders that I mentioned. So it was clear from day one, all of our time and attention need to be pivoted towards those individuals, and we were able to do that. And so when a company as large as our company is, and with as much support as we have, we can do that. We can make things happen. And so the alignment, the communication, the way we outline protocols, the resources that were made available to create that safe environment with the associates and our customers, our communities, our restaurant partners, all of our partners in the marketplace, I think was world class. And I think it made me incredibly proud. I've obviously been proud to be with the company for as long as I have, but I think in a time like that, where I saw us rally and focus and be as fast to the action as we were, it was incredible. It was an incredible effort. It really re-inspired many of our leaders about how great of a company that we work for. I think it certainly helped with our ability to navigate through those difficult times. It certainly wasn't easy all along. I'm not making it sound like it was easy, but yet we navigated through, I think, the best possible way we possibly could. And again, try to protect that safety as first and foremost. And, I think by and large, we were able to accomplish a lot of our goals there. It gave us a ton of momentum, certainly in the business to carry forward. We do see a light at the end of the tunnel, but our focus remains very committed, very disciplined to the things that we were focused against last year. We're not wavering one bit from that because we're still not out of the woods. So the intensity and focus is still very large here.
Yeah. So what lessons did you learn from this? I mean, I think all of us have walked away with a greater appreciation for whether it's spending time with our family or just trying to find some balance and some time to meditate. I mean, what did you learn, not only as a person, but what did you learn as an organization?
Are you ready for another coach model? I got another coach model for you. I love sports. And so I put these things into acronyms that help me remember this. And so I had a coach 1.0 that I think, I'll talk to you about how it's all about leadership, whether you're a brand, whether you're an executive, division, whatever role you play leading. I think there's a foundational element of coach. The next element of coach, I learned, throughout the COVID year, I learned a lot about how to sort of evolve your leadership style and pivot to something that's going to be certainly better, greater, more sustainable. And I think if you go through that model, to see confidence. Last year, was a recipe a year for people to lose confidence and break your confidence and everything. But I think it was a year for me to gain confidence who I am as a leader, gain confidence for the strong organization I work for, gain confidence in all the things that PepsiCo stands for, winning with purpose, right? Those things became, really high on my radar, saying we actually can do this. Optimism. Look, you got to lead from a place of optimism. This wasn't a place of sort of happy land, but it was a place that we are going to get through this. We are going to stand strong. We are going to flourish through this, come out in better times, and all the people that we work with and the community at large, our customers, our associates, our families, we're all going to come out better. So I think it was an incredible time to be optimistic when things didn't look so great. There were nights that were very, very tough for me personally. Were tough for the organization, all the people in the organization, but to still have an optimistic lens about where you're headed in the future, I think is still important as a leader to do that. Agility. Hey, look, we all had to flex. We had to flex our styles. We had to flex the things that we were able to go do day in and day out. Our places where we worked. I was a heavy traveler. I had to pull that back and lead differently, act differently, communicate differently, inspire differently than I've had to before, being a very hands-on leader. And so agility was one of the things that I learned tremendously. And I learned that was a positive, especially with Stronger Together, being more agile to the marketplace that we operate in, I think was a true benefit. So I learned agility. The next C is commitment. All in. You have to be all in. You can't be wavering when you're in this kind of tough time and you're leading from the front. You absolutely have to be all in on the things you talk about. So it was once you establish a position, you stay with that position and you go forward with it in a very strong way. So commitment, and then hunger. I still staying hungry. I want to still grow. I still want to get better at what I do. I want my organization to get better. I want our company to get better at what we do, especially the community work that we do, the work we do with customers, the work we do with our associates all the way down through the front line. There's ways of still getting better in the new norms that we're establishing. And so I have this appetite to do a better job, become even a better leader than I have been. There's still a lot of work to do there. And I'm certainly humble enough to recognize that, but I have this appetite of wanting to get better. And so I use that model as certainly lessons that I've learned to put that in the framework to help, one, get myself grounded, and also to help try to get my team grounded so we're all operating on the same page. And I think by and large, when we're all embracing these frameworks in a very similar manner, our effectiveness as a team is outstanding.
Yeah, that's phenomenal. You're setting the bar really high there, Derek. Really, really high. Confidence, optimism, agility, commitment, and hunger. That's a high bar, high bar. Now I have to kind of turn our attention to like the most amazing activation at the Super Bowl. And you're stronger together. I mean, multi-tiered activation. You involved DoorDash. You had local restaurants. You were out in the community. I don't think there wasn't a touch point that you didn't have some level of impact on. Take some time and just walk us through all of the things that you did.
Okay, well, that was great. I think, again, it was a tremendous job. First of all, I commend the NFL and what they were able to do to pull this off. I mean, there was a time when you didn't think the game was going to happen, or it could have been done at a different time. They certainly could have moved the geography, but I credit them for having a very successful season and bringing us an outstanding postseason, highly competitive postseason that brought out some of the best competitive football that I've seen in quite some time. So I give them a ton of credit. Also being on the ground with the host committee and working with that group to execute, what I thought was a flawlessly executed Super Bowl event. Now, things were done very, very differently. For us, we would normally have a tremendous amount of activation. Brands would be front and center, Pepsi doing a lot of entertainment. We still would do goodwill work in the community, obviously, but our scale was driven off of the entertainment model and the awareness we would build with big time events and social engagements and parties and a lot of sampling and things like that. It's meant to be a tremendous brand activation. This is the strongest ever, right, of the year. And we obviously had to pivot dramatically from that. There was no talk of even that happening this year, but our talks transformed and really evolved to how do we all now invest and pivot all the effort into the community. So my team came up with an outstanding, to your point, multi-tiered activation plan that really was built to leave no one behind from a community perspective. And so, we had activation against restaurants. We had activation against fans. We had activation against healthcare workers. We had activations against cleaning up the beach from a sustainability standpoint. We supported local businesses in ways we haven't before. We supported all our retail partners in ways we haven't before. And so the lift on that was great. So let me give you a few examples. So our beach cleanup, we worked with Dive 55, an organization made up of former Navy SEALs. These were some bad, bad people. They're good, bad in a very good way. They know stuff we don't know how to go do. Very, very skilled, very committed. They went out and helped cleaned up coral reef. Tons of debris coming out of the water. Unbelievable effort. I mean, I'm talking about tons of debris coming out of the water over the course of that week. So we're very thrilled to partner with Dive 55. We're going to use them on an ongoing basis. What a tremendous organization and commitment they bring to the table. We're so happy to partner with them. So there's a sustainability effort going on there. DoorDash, we partnered with DoorDash really through the entire playoff window, going back to the first week in the playoffs. Every weekend, no delivery fees, using a participating restaurant in the state of Florida, by the way, that serves Pepsi. So we had thousands of restaurants on board that we were waiving delivery fees. So that helped generate some business for them. I understand the incidents and the frequency with those restaurants picked up substantially over that weekend because of that promotion. So something we're very, very proud of doing. We're obviously going to continue to look at doing things like that on an ongoing basis to, again, help stand up the restaurant community. But they were thrilled by that partnership and effort. We had 4 restaurants actually participate in the Shack Bowl and did the restaurant challenge, the Pepsi restaurant challenge, the Shack Bowl. It was a fun event. You're talking about eating some great food, some great concepts, some great game day concepts with the local restaurants that we used were amazing. We all ended up awarding all of them $10,000 in grants in support of the business. It started out with only one winner, and they won a trophy and a grant, but we gave all of them were winners in our eyes for the fact that they are doing what they're doing in this environment was incredible. So we awarded all of them with $10,000 grants. I understand their businesses also have picked up tremendously from that standpoint going forward. We had some drones in the market, dropped some swag gear and some tailgating items into consumers' homes for the weekend. So some of our, Pepsi fans and some of our NFL fans were able to, get some really cool items to help them celebrate and home gate for the weekend as they had to. So that was really fun to see the swag come there. And hey, one of the most important things and heartfelt things for me for the weekend was the reach out that we had to the healthcare workers. We went to 2 hospitals. We partnered with a minority-owned restaurant to serve meals to 2 restaurants, over 1,000 meals. We split those up amongst 2 healthcare facilities. I participated in one of those where we actually handed out meals, and that was such a heartwarming experience that we had to do that. It was incredible. You just see the emotion, the excitement at the same time, and the energy that these folks had was incredible. We couldn't be where we are today without the tremendous commitment of our healthcare worker, population everywhere, really throughout the world, but certainly in Tampa that weekend, it was a tremendous effort. And then that night we had a concert we sponsored only for healthcare workers. So it was a very socially distant concert. We had pods set up outside in a park near the waterfront down in Tampa. And we had all the healthcare workers come out and participate and be treated to a great concert led by Low Cash, who's a great partner of ours as well. And so, we try to have some fun. We certainly wanted to celebrate the event that was coming to town. It is a Super Bowl, so we didn't want to leave that behind. So we try to engage in ways that were meaningful in the community, that had a lot of impact, that resonated, certainly not only during that weekend, but continue to resonate as we left our work behind there and continue the ongoing work for that matter. But more importantly, pay tribute to our heroes that were in the marketplace at that time. And our associates played a big role in pulling that off. I want to thank them again for a tremendous effort in leaning in and giving up, their time to help bring all this about. And it was an amazing experience. It was done differently, but quite frankly, it was done in an elite way, and it's going to have a long-lasting effect, I think, on that Tampa community for a long, long time to come. And we're appreciative of the opportunity to work with a lot of our partners there to pull that off.
Yeah, it was incredible. Just incredible. So definitely kudos to you and kudos to your team. And I think it definitely made a lasting impression. The Super Bowl is such a marquee event, but I think the involvement of the community, the healthcare workers, particularly at a time when I think everyone needed a real boost. We were all happy to see the Super Bowl go on. So once again, incredible work. Kudos to you and your whole team.
Thank you. The team did it. The team pulled it off. It was amazing. Great partnerships.
Yeah. So, looking back at all the successes and learnings, you've had an amazing career. You're doing phenomenal work. You've leaned into the purpose of the brand. There are a lot of brands out there that many people will say are just making a lot of noise. How do they actually create real impactful action in the community as a brand that people believe is authentic, that's true, and that's also sustainable?
Right. No, I think you said it. You said the key word to me, and that's authenticity. I think that's the most important factor. When brands or companies are bringing things to community that has an authentic, sort of orientation to it. And the question I always have, are you solving problems for the community, or are you trying to solve problems for yourself? Right. So if it's a self-centered proposition, it's not going to resonate. It's not going to stick. It's not going to be effective. If it is about solving problems in the community, it's going to resonate. It's going to stick. You're going to have positive sentiment about it. It's going to be sustainable. More people are going to want to latch on and be part of the effort. Right. So I think that's sort of my measuring stick for measuring what's noise and what's real is the authenticity of it. And I think, all the things I talked about, Super Bowl weekend, the things that we're doing across the markets with Pepsi Stronger Together are extremely authentic because, quite frankly, they're born from the community. It's from the voice of the community. So there are issues that matter to the community. So we're here to solve problems for the community and help them solve problems with that. In turn, by solving problems for the community, you are sort of solving problems for yourself. You're solving problems for the whole marketplace, right? Everybody wins when the community wins. But if only brands win or try to win at the expense of the community, or not the community coming along, it's a no-go for me. It's not a good proposition. So I think that's how I would answer that question.
Yeah, definitely. I think right now, given everything that 2020 presented us with, I think all brands are really, once again, leaning into their purpose and trying to find a way. I think consumers are demanding it, and the world at large is demanding it. Pepsi's blessed to have tons of resources, tons of amazing leadership like yourself. What advice do you have for brands that don't have those resources, that don't have the capital to pull off the activations at the scale that you're doing? How can they drive positive change with what they already have and what they're already doing?
Right. I don't think it matters how big you are, how small you are, you can make an impact in the community. And so size in this case, yeah, you can obviously have the ability to do more things, but if you're not as large, certainly as an employer like ourselves, you still can make an impact. And I'd say, look, a few things you can do. One is you can get connected with the brands that are doing things, because we welcome the chance to work with other partners. The more scale we get, the better off we get. And it may not, in this case, a partner may not necessarily have financial resources, but they have hours to give. They have volunteerism work to give, or they have some other, opportunity, some other areas of resources that they may be able to give, no matter how big or small the community to contribute to the effort. I think the more partnerships, the better. So if you're not connected, or if you feel like you can't go in and lead an effort, then I think you join the effort. And we're always welcoming partners to come join the table to help us scale up the effort and the initiative and bring more people to the table. So I think this notion of connectivity is important. The second one I think is these companies should have, let's get in the community and have courageous conversations. And the community will tell you what they need from you, and they understand where you're coming from, and they will find ways to help you get connected and have an impact. So I call it courageous conversation is the second sort of area, is your ability, once you connect with people, having those discussions around what really matters, what are the issues, how you can help, how you can contribute in ways that might be different than Pepsi Stronger Together, other things that are going on if you're not able to connect with a bigger entity. And then I think the last thing is just, hey, commit to some sort of action. Have a commitment to action and an agenda, and go for it. Again, no matter how big or small the resources, I think people need action from brands. They need action from employers. They need action from executives. And again, we're not here keeping score of who's putting the most money in and who has the most people and who's done this or that. It's really, are you in? Are you a partner? Are you at the table? Are you making things happen? I think that's my litmus test for somebody that can want to play to get in the game. Get in the game. Everybody can get in the game, no doubt about it.
I love that. I love that. Everybody can get into the game. Well, Derek, it has been an absolute pleasure. I feel like I have to invoke that celebrate every step forward. You're the president of the Southern Division of Pepsi, and I'm here sitting with you. I mean, seeing two brown faces on the screen, that's progress. So I'm definitely celebrating. Thank you for your great advice. Thank you for all your fantastic leadership. And I'm excited to see what you do moving forward.
More to go do for sure. Thank you for inviting me today, having me as part of your partnership and your forum. And I look forward to working with you closer again as well. It's been an honor. Thank you for the opportunity.
And a big shout out to Brand Innovators. So thank you.
Absolutely. Brand Innovators. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Sharon, you took all the words out of my mouth. You put it better than I could have put it. Both of you. Thank you, Sharon. Derek, thank you for spending your time with us, for sharing your insights with us. I was texting with your team, at the beginning of this. I'm like, I can't wait till we get back into the real world. Our last event that we did back, our big one was, pre-Super Bowl of last year back in Miami.